I'm Marjolaine Broekman. This is Skylar, my daughter, and today we're going to guide you through your first cardio rebounding video. So put the cardio rebounder in your Aero Pilates machine, and you may want to screw it in to prevent it from moving using the big screw bolts that come with it. Who knew that cardio rebounding in a lying down position could be so amazing with no impact on your joints, an incredible stomach workout, and a more effective cardio fat burning workout than running. It's amazing. So Sky's lying down on the machine with her head on the headrest, which you can adjust. It can be flat, in the middle, or on the high position depending on your comfort level. Or you may want to start to consider our head and neck support pillow, which is fantastic for when you're rebounding, and you would then have the headrest flat and it just slides right over with the elastic. So we're going to start by just walking to begin with so that you get a feel for what it's like to be lying down with a little rebounder in the vertical position. So Sky has 2 cords, and we're going to do this for about 3 minutes. So move in a little bit closer and keep your legs bent. There you go. So it's really just the feeling, getting used to the feeling of having your feet against something that isn't as stable as the floor, and feeling what it feels like in your core. The goal is always to keep neutral spine, which can get a little tricky as you take cords away, because the fewer cords you use, the more your abdominals are engaged. The more cords you use, the harder it is on your legs. So you're going to play around with this and really make it a fun workout. So a few minutes of just walking, and then you can go into jogging, Sky. So now you're really just going to move the platform a little bit. So great. So 3 minutes of jogging, 2 cords, which is right in the middle and the perfect place to start, because I'm assuming the first time you do this, your abdominals are not going to be as strong as they will be after you've been doing this for a few weeks. And as I said earlier, fewer cords makes it much harder on your stomach. So 2 is right in the middle. All right, so I'm timing you here. So what are you feeling?
Well, I feel it in my abdominals, and I keep focusing on keeping my back flat on the platform. It's really engaging here.
Yes. The thing is that your legs are in the air, and holding them in the air as you're jumping, of course, requires that abdominal core strength. So it is about focusing on maintaining neutral spine by pushing the tailbone down into the platform and bringing your belly button down at the same time. So do you feel any impact on your knees?
No, none.
So again, it's important to land on the rebounder with your feet appropriately. So in this particular case, in our first cardio video, what we want you to focus on is parallel landing, so that the feet are underneath the knees are underneath the hips, and you're landing with your toes as if you were walking on the ground. So toes, metatarsals, heels, and then come off the other way. As you push away, it's great to engage the quad, so you get more of a workout if you're actually using the legs and in full extension. So one more minute of this, and then what we will do is the same movement but with one extra cord. Your neck is feeling lovely on that pillow, but even if you don't have the pillow, I suggest that you just have your headrest on that middle position so that you're comfortable. You don't want it too flat. Occasionally, about 1 in 10,000 people will email me and say that they get motion sickness from doing this. And it's because your ears and your eyes are not connecting the same message. If you're looking at a blank ceiling while you're jumping, and that's all you see, then you're not registering movement. So you want to be able to see that you're moving. By having the headrest a little bit higher, you can see that. All right, 20 more seconds, and then we'll change chords. Okay, so come all the way in, and let me add a chord for you. So now on 3 chords, start a little bit with walking first, just get used to it. It's more resistance, so now the pushing away becomes harder. And the reason that we're hopping from one leg to the other is, again, because this is your first video, and while the abdominals are becoming stronger, which happens from this rebounding, you want to be able to support the lower back, and you can do that by hopping from one leg to the other, and then the non-hopping leg goes into the chest.
It's definitely more challenging on my legs right now with more chords.
Yes, which is great, right? Because now you're burning more calories, obviously, and you're strengthening those legs and knees without any impact on those joints, which I think is remarkable. So that's 1 minute. We're going to do 3. Easier on your stomach, right?
Yes. But I'm still trying to keep in mind that
You have to engage.
mindfulness of engagement there, yeah.
Yes.
Because if you don't, then I can notice, like if I just don't engage here at all, then I notice my hips move on the platform.
Yes,
you know?
which is so key to making, having pelvic stabilization, just like having shoulder stabilization, is key for the lower body to move correctly without injuring yourself, and true of the upper body as well. All right, so 1 more minute. It's fun, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I think that's the most amazing part. I used to be a runner, and as a runner, high impact on your knees, high impact on your internal organs, forget the wrinkles in your face and everything else, and then bad weather, and there's so many reasons not to run. And when we did the study on our rebounding, we found that you're actually burning more calories doing this lying flat on your back without the impact on your knees than if you were running. So right there, that's, I think, testament enough for why you would stop running and start doing this. So 15 more seconds. And I want to then challenge your core by going down to 1 chord. Okay, so come all the way in. We're going to take 2 chords away and leave her with 1 chord. And now just a little jogging to start with so you get used to it. Much easier on your legs. Mm-hmm. Okay, and now you can jog a little bigger. So, yeah. So what are you feeling? What's the difference?
Well, the amount of time that I'm suspended is longer, so I have to engage my core in a deeper way.
Right. Does it help your lower back do you feel any strain on your lower back?
No.
Does it help to keep the knee into the chest?
Yes.
That feels relief, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, so again, you would do the same thing. So the abdominals will get much stronger and you'll be able to do a lot more harder work. But for right now, this is the way that I really want you to begin. And so let's go into a single leg jump, kicking one leg in the air, but still hopping from one to the other. Good. And you can play around with that if you want to do 2 on 1 foot. You know, the goal is to give you the basics so that you can actually make up your own routine. And that's done by changing the number of chords. It's done by whether you land on both feet or 1 foot. It's done by how the feet land on the rebounder. There's many different variations.
It's definitely a little bit easier to land with both feet and then kick one up than it is to just alternate kicking.
Yes, okay, so let's start there.
But it's fun to do both.
It is fun. Also, I find that when you lower your leg, so the one, yes, if you lower it, it's harder too. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
It engages more core stabilizers. The other thing people will write to me about is that their machine moves across the floor as they're jumping. So you're going to get good at landing. The goal is not to jump out, but to land. So it's a soft landing. So the softer you begin to control your landing, the less you're going to move. And that requires more abdominal strength too. So you have to engage your core, squeeze your belly button down to your spine, and land softly and then take off. You're going to still get an amazing workout. All right, so 30 more seconds. So I think another fun one hopping routine is to do the splits. So instead of single leg kicks, exactly. So let's do that for 3 minutes. Be careful how you split. Don't go too far. Don't go too wide. You know, be controlled. Everything in Aero Pilates is control. In fact, Joe Pilates used to call it contrology. So before we called it Pilates, it was called contrology. And he used to say that 2 or 3 repetitions done beautifully with control is a lot more important than doing 400 without control. So it's about becoming aware of your body. You know, which muscles are working? Is your pelvis stable? How is your spine aligned? And I think more mindful movement is something that we should all be really trying to achieve.
I think that's what's so incredible about this machine, because it kind of, in almost without thinking about it intuitively, you start to have this mindful sense of movement because of the way you're breathing, because you're focusing on engaging here, and then you start to focus here, and so it's like everything is engaged and moving mindfully without, really, it happens naturally, I think.
That's right. I think that Pilates generally is a mind-body connected movement system that does teach you to become aware of the internal muscles in your body and what you're doing with them. But the reformer is brilliant at making sure that you can't do it wrong, and I love that. It's always supporting you where you need the support. So now let's try 2-foot landing, Sky, and I think we should go up to 2 chords because it's going to be harder. So again, 2 chords is where you begin. It's in the middle. She's going to do 2-foot jumping, which you can explain. How does that feel?
It's definitely more challenging on, I think, my legs and my abs, my abdominal area, than doing one foot.
Yes.
But not as challenging as one chord.
Okay, so on 2 chords, begin with 2-foot jumping, only as much as you can. If your lower back begins to feel tense or uncomfortable, go back to hopping from one foot to the other. But eventually you'll get so strong that this is really easy to do. And now that you've done parallel 2-foot jumping for a little while, we'll do 1 more minute like that. Then we can add a slalom to it so that you're working more of the obliques.
I do have to say, it's amazing that when I'm doing one leg or doing both legs at the same time, how much more I feel the individual areas of my leg. Like I can feel my inner thigh differently.
Yes.
And I can feel my outer thigh differently. And even my glutes feel different when it's 2 legs versus 1.
Yes, that's the fun part. I mean, who wants to be bored in your exercise routine? Nobody ever gets bored with Aero Pilates. There's so many fun ways that you can customize, and we're hoping that these DVDs encourage you to have confidence to do that. Yeah, so feel free to go back to 1 leg if you feel that, 2 foot is too much. And kick a little bit, perhaps. Yeah. So again, you can notice that Sky's machine is not moving because her landing is soft. She bends her knees when she lands, and that's the key to a soft landing. Plus, it's better when you're jumping if you're bending your knee before you start. All right, so how about a little slalom? So slalom is simply 2-foot landing, but turning at the hips, you're rotating just your lower body slightly. So knees go to the side. And what that does is it causes you to engage more of your obliques. You can do 5 or 6 on one side and then switch sides, or you can alternate. It's a little harder to alternate because you have to work to make the movement change. Where are you feeling it?
Everywhere. I mean, I definitely feel it in my obliques. What I've always found interesting is that you think that you feel it more in the oblique when like in the opposite oblique of the direction your feet are turned. But I actually feel it in both obliques, both sides. I feel it more when my feet are that way in this side, but I still feel this oblique working too, because it's like the stabilizing muscle.
Right. So I always say to people that you really don't need to know anything about anatomy or exercise physiology in order to get a really powerfully effective workout on an Aero Pilates machine, because number 1, Joe Pilates was brilliant and figured out that all the movements do everything right and work the opposing muscles, but 2, your reformer is really helping you. It's supporting you where you need the support and protecting you as well as challenging you where you're able to be challenged.
I feel like I'm skiing.
Yeah, well it is. It's a great prep for skiing. So half a minute, and then we'll go down 2-foot jumping on 1 chord, your favorite.
Okay.
I love doing this. I think it's having been a runner for 35 years, it's so much more gentle on my body and yet way more effective because it's working my core in a whole different way. People say, what is your core really? Well, 1 jump on this rebounder and you feel your entire core. And everybody wants a flat stomach, but you want more than that. What you want is a body that actually initiates movement from your core. So you're using it no matter what you're doing in life, whether it's bending or gardening or hanging out with your children, whatever you're doing, to move the right way really will keep you younger and in less pain and with less injury. All right, so I'm going to take a chord away, and now you can play. You can do whatever you want. You might start hopping and then go into jogging and then single leg kicks. I'll move out of the way so you can be a little freer. If weight loss is one of your fitness goals, then definitely including the cardio rebounder in your workout will help with that. In our study, we saw an average of a couple of pounds a week, people losing that weight, and the inches and the toning and the postural changes, that all happened when they combined the cardio rebounding with the foot bar Pilates work. So definitely, if flattening your stomach, whittling down your waist, and losing weight is a goal, then do some rebounding. I think 20 minutes is a really amazing, adequate rebounding workout. But there are days that I do 40 minutes because I'm having so much fun. Another great way to play, to lift both legs in the air, which you can do when you're down on one cord. The other thing is a reverse crunch, so pull your knees into your chest.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And then one more is when your legs are extended, lower them down. So instead of lifting them, lower them.
Yeah, that's extra challenge.
Yeah. It's lower abdominals,
Yes.
much deeper.
Good for strengthening that pelvic floor.
Exactly. So what would you like to finish on? We can do one more minute of this and then, is it 3 chords or 2?
2.
2? All right.
Maybe 3.
Well, 3 is fun. You could really jog in place.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So 20 more seconds.
I like the idea sometimes of holding the knee
I know.
when it's in.
You can do that.
Because it kind of relieves the
Lower back.
lower back even more.
This can be very challenging for you in the beginning if your abdominals are weak. Obviously, between the 2 workouts, you're going to get much stronger in your core. So I really recommend that if you're getting any tension at all in your back, that you go back to hopping and go back to 2 chords. And then every day you can add a little bit of these challenging bits to make the workout more fun and to get that core stronger. Okay, so 3 chords, and now you can play for the last couple of minutes of the workout. So on 3 chords, you can get your heart rate up much, much faster. So if that's the goal, so heart health, little sweating, then adding chords really does that. That's fun. Obliques.
A little oblique.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely feel how much faster my heart rate
Yeah.
goes up.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what 4 chords would be like. I typically just move between 3, 2, and 1. 4 chords might mean almost running on the spot.
Right, in place almost.
Yeah. I think for this first cardio workout, we'll just stick with the 3. So 2 chord jumping is obviously 2 foot jumping on 3 chords is fast. So you're not getting quite the core workout, but you're getting much harder workout on your legs. Fortunately, because it's a little trampoline that's absorbing all the impact, there's no impact on your knees.
It feels great. It feels like I've only been doing this for a minute. I feel like I would have had to have sprinted down the road like
Yes.
3 or 4 times to feel
Yes. Well,
what I'm feeling right now.
The remarkable thing about this supine lying on your back jumping is that your legs are in the air. So there's a gravitational support of blood flowing to your heart,
Wow.
which is very different than if you're vertically running, which is another reason why it's easier on your body with less effort. You can get that heart rate up much faster. All right, I think 10 more seconds and you're done.
Okay.
All right, so great. So you've finished your cardio workout. If weight loss is your goal, this is definitely something you should include at least 3 times a week in your program. Let's finish with a little stretch. So roll to the side, really stretch out that hip. How's that feel?
Great.
And now the other side. And maybe knees into your chest. So what do you think?
It was a great workout.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much.